the overall acceptance of a creator would then be one that one gives gratitude to that creator. That, for example, if you're ever in trouble and you ask someone for help, just say you ask me for help, I'll give you 50,000 quid. Are you going to thank the third person walking by, or will you thank me? You're going to thank me, aren't you? So naturally, what we're inviting people to do is think just momentarily. A universe, which did it create by itself, which is like a mother.
Evolution.
No, evolution doesn't answer this question. All evolution seeks to do is to look at the single cell organisms, and everything then came from there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seek to highlight the very fundamental question of the philosophy of science, which science in itself cannot empirically observe, because it can only go far as the Big Bang. But that's what science is telling us.
Right.
Science tells us a Big Bang occurred. But what science is failing to understand, what that Big Bang was a metaphysical miracle. It is a supernatural event that has occurred. Imagine, here you are, right at the beginning, back a universe. How did it come about? I mean, what caused it? What was prevailing there that caused it? So what we then say, this is something science cannot answer. Neither does science seek to answer this question. That's purely hypothetical. Well, that's purely hypothetical at the moment. We can't assume something that which has left us all nullified.
No, but this isn't for me.
I'd suggest you have a little read of it though, just to consider it. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Have a little.
It's not, it's not Islam. I'm not religious.
No, I understand. But like I said, our central goal is for people to understand. I want you to think about it. This is something beyond science. It's called the philosophy of science. So it's not like empirical observation where you can check it out. So what we're saying is, okay, the universe is in existence. Now, what are the possibilities of how it came into existence? Did it create itself? Which would suggest that it's like a mother giving birth to herself. Nonsensical. Yeah. Did it come from nothing? And nothing is the absence of absolutely everything and anything. Hence, it makes no sense to say a universe coming from nothing. No sense whatsoever. Okay. The other possibility, the universe has always existed, but that has been proven to be false because of the recent events of the last 100 years, which showed that the universe came into existence. That was the prevailing thought in academia going back about 150, 160 years ago, where they thought that the universe always existed. But when the Edwin Hubble telescope found that the redshift and the universe came into existence at that singular point, then the observation was, no, it had a beginning. So if it had a beginning, how did it begin? So this is something science cannot answer. So all it can say, oh, there were these various hydrogen, the helium went forth from the energy which expanded the universe for much like a balloon effect. But what we say, what caused it? Did it pop into existence by itself? No. It's something has to be beyond the universe and not contingent upon the set of things which are within the universe. It has to be something independent, outside of that set of things. And that is...
How old's Islam? How old's Christianity?
Okay, I'll answer that. So in Islamic definition, conceptually, it's been right since the beginning of time, a belief in a singular creator who's unlike his creation. It then formalized itself about 1400 years ago, Christianity about 2000 years ago, Judaism around about 3000 years ago. But what the central message, it still remained within all the world's religions, God is one, unlike anything within creation. So anything you can imagine. So if you look at time, matter, space, energy, electrons, particles, coming in and out of existence, coming in and out of existence. Now, point is, what was there which initiated? Why were the particles there? How did that energy expand? Who created that energy? Where did that energy materialize? So something has to be. It's called something which is not contingent upon the set of everything which is contingent. So everything depends on everything else. So we are all contingent upon something else, unless there has to be something independent which is beyond that set of contingent things, and it has to be there by necessity.
You can stand here all night and I still won't get it.
Okay, you won't get it, but it's just quite easy. Forget about all the jargon. Simple as that. Universe couldn't have come about by nothing. Did the universe create itself? Which is like saying here's a mother walking by, she gave birth to herself. Makes no sense whatsoever if one is to give the parallel of a universe which created itself. So that's two. Number three, okay, there's only four possibilities, you see. Like Sherlock Holmes once said, whatever's left over must be the truth. So the only plausibility, you see, is that then you ask, okay, who created God? So what we say to you, if we go on forever and ever, who created that God? Who will go on forever? We would never come into the present. But what we observe that is that when something is dependent, it cannot have an infinite chain of past series of events, you see. Otherwise, we wouldn't get into the present. Think about it. If we go on forever, who created that God? We would never get here in the present. There would never be a starting point which would then necessitate that why we're here. So this is just basic stuff, you see. So all it then leads us to thinking, okay, fair enough, that makes sense. We've looked at the 4 possibilities, we've dismissed them because they are somewhat preposterous. A universe from nothing. Nothing means the absence of everything and everything. Did the universe create itself, which is like tantamount to thinking that a mother gives birth to herself? Who created God, therefore? That's a redundant question, because then we'll go to a dependent past infinite chain of events, which will then not leave us to the present. The only logical conclusion, therefore, would be something outside the universe, which is in the realms of the metaphysical, which is incomprehensible to us, has created the universe. That would be the only logical conclusion, and that thing has to be independent. It cannot be within that set of dependent things which is within the universe. Does that make sense? There's no way. It's called the contingency argument, and it's very powerful.
Yeah, but I still don't believe it.
You're still after that, all that.
No.
But what are our other possibilities? Look, for example, we're standing out here in Brick Lane in late August. Weather is quite reasonable.
Yeah.
We can't go saying, all right, we're standing in Brick Lane, it's minus 10 degrees, and we're freezing ourselves off, and we're wearing heavy coats, or sheepskin coats and wellies. We can't say that because that's too far-fetched. We've got to look at what is the reality. And the reality then is out of those possibilities, the only possibility is that something created the universe, something beyond the universe. But otherwise, the other possibilities just don't make any sense, which we've already, which I've gone off on a bit of a verbiage in explaining. But what I seek to show to you is that this is the only possibility. So something is independent, which is a necessary being, and that necessary being would be a creator, you see, who is unlike his creation.
No.
Okay, but now give me an alternative then, please. Let's have an alternative. Let's have something for me to consider.
It's illusion, isn't it? It's a breakdown of gases and stuff like that. Creates a nice atmosphere, cells reproduce, evolve. Obviously lizards crawl out, fish crawl out of the sea, become lizards and birds, and goes on like that.
Yeah, so all
that's
that
fact.
No, but all evolution is seeking to do is that it's come from a singular one cell, you see. That's the objective. But it doesn't purport evolution. No evolutionist seeks to look at or determine what caused the universe. It doesn't go into that realm. No. All it looks at is the intricacies of how our existence is, in the sense of from which singularities we've come from. But it can't explain that, you see, which is referred to as the philosophy of science. So no evolution will claim that. They'll simply say, oh, we don't know. That's the best they can possibly say. Whereas when we use logic and reason based upon those possibilities, this goes beyond.
But you don't know either. That's the thing.
Okay.
You don't know.
We don't. So
they
then,
can't prove it, and you can't prove it. I mean, I've never seen God come down and speak to me. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen.
Well, I mean, we say that.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Faith has got its place.
Yes.
I'm not saying that.
No, I accept that. No.
Absolutely saying.
No, that's
Faith
not.
has got its place.
Perhaps it's not for you.
You've got. My mum's deeply religious. You know, I've got a few friends who are, and it gives them comfort when they need it. And it helps. But it's not for me.
Okay, fair enough. But like I said, I've shown to you what the possibilities are. Now, you're correct. We cannot prove a creator, but at the same time, you cannot disprove a creator either.
No, I'm not
so
saying that.
Excellent. So then we look at the sound. What reasonings are our reasonings sound?
I'm not.
Absolutely,
like,
yes.
I'm not saying there is and there isn't.
Okay, brilliant. So that's fine. It's not for you, but then that's a point personal to yourself. But what I would for you to consider are those points again. All right, fair enough. It's not for me. But what about what that bloke has said? 4 possibilities, because there's no other possibilities. He's dismissed the other 3 because they are too far out to even comprehend, or too far-fetched. Therefore, the only logical possibility can be that which is left over, like Sherlock once said. Yeah. Think about it, that's very powerful, you see. Which Sherlock Holmes?
You.
Oh, me. My name is Mustafa. Delighted to speak to you. What's your name?
Dave.
Dave. Nice one, Dave. If you want to have a...
That's the best pitch I've ever had.
Brilliant. Fantastic. God bless you, my friend. If you want to have a little check up on our conversation, it's on a channel called Dawah to Soul. The figure 2, so DAWAH, 2, the figure, SOUL. You can reflect on it later. You can subscribe to it. Thanks, mate. Nice one. Nice speaking to you. Very pleasant conversation. He's accepted that this was the best conversation he's ever had with a person who's a theist. Not that I'm seeking to show that I'm some sort of intellectual. Far from that. Just alhamdulillah, just giving him an indication as to why we believe in God. And alhamdulillah, I think he was at the end quite happy to hear what we had to say, although he remained somewhat convinced about his understanding. May Allah guide him. Assalamu alaikum.